Tim, what are your kind of general feelings about the ice raids overall?
I'm not exactly sure because a lot of the stuff the media puts out is all psychological warfare. So it's hard to figure out like what's going on. I know that all the liberals are freaking out, losing their minds, protesting, sometimes getting hurt doing so or
Mhm.
killed. And but there wasn't a peep when Obama was doing this stuff. Like he deported way more people, and people were actually praising ICE for doing it.
I
Uh,
I also feel like people are saying, "Oh, well, I feel like it's a sanctuary city," but did I don't know if do you recall there being sanctuary cities whenever Obama was president?
I can't remember. They keep pushing the goalposts and like coming up with all this language to try to make people their fifis feel good. Like we don't want to hurt your fifis, and so it's all about feelings. Now it's like our country's lost its balls. Like literally, the testosterone rate is way down, like
I mean,
on
I
average.
there is a lot of um extra estrogen in the air. I mean, they even talk about how since we're not supposed to say the S word, the self delete. Well, maybe what's the term they use? They say that a lot of liberal women have self deleting empathy,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and how the only emotion that they work on is with empathy, and no matter how many times you explain it to them, they'll say, like you had the Abrego guy, Maryland father, also likely a member of MS-13, but they will latch on to the Maryland father. But if you tell them the evidence points to him being MS-13, they'll be like, I don't want to hear it. Right now, as
yeah.
far as whenever you see ICE agents out there, like I guess shoving people or pepper spraying people, uh, I know you're more of a small government guy, right?
Yeah.
So what's your feeling seeing that?
Well, I mean, they need to bring back the fire hoses like they did during the civil rights movement and stuff, because that would be hilarious. Like, it's not
It's a
lethal
must.
and it's cold out. Uh, give them a bath. I'm sure a bunch of those crunchy people haven't had a bath in a while. So, like just give them a little squirt here and there. And, but yeah, I mean, if you're putting hands on a law enforcement officer or federal agent when they're trying to do their job, like I don't know the particular details, like how thorough their investigations are before they conduct raids.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but if you're there being a nuisance, which a lot of them are probably paid to do so, and you're gonna you're gonna FAFO, like fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
I we were trained, shout, shove, shoot, um, when we had to deal with that kind of stuff, and you tell somebody, and then obviously these people have a hard time listening to anything, and they don't, they don't like authority, but yet they are begging for it, which is insane.
Yeah, and you kind of have to wonder who their authority is because obviously, I mean, I can't speak for all of them, but it's probably not a higher being, respect for a higher being. It is a just a bundle of emotions in their brains, in their hearts, etc. And I think there are times for that, right? Like if you see a child being hit, obviously an emotional reaction should be how you react. It's like I see someone doing something harmful to a child. It's
Yeah,
like you're gonna have to stop me from doing things to them that would put me in jail for a long time, right? Uh, but I think it's reached that point where it's do you even know that the people that are doing this, and let's forget that it's Trump, right? Let's just say the president, that they're doing it to protect the very people who are fighting to keep these people here. and I just don't think it ever occurs to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's psychological warfare. It's been going on for years, and it's slow and steady, creeping in steadily, and it started out big time with when it, like 2010 with like Occupy Wall Street. Like, oh, the billionaires are screwing everyone over, and then that quickly changed once they realized you know the vulnerability in the stock market. Um, then it went to like everyone's racist, and then
Yeah.
it switched to trans rights and men and women's sports and men and women's spaces, which is insulting to women, but they're like embracing it, which is it's like Stockholm syndrome. It's full on Stockholm syndrome. You think about it, like it's all uh, like plays out of like Goebbels or um, Bernays handbook.
Yeah.
Like the propaganda guys. It's all like classic. They could just you could point to any page and find an example of what's going on anywhere in the country. I've never been to a protest.
I I went to one but didn't end up attending it. This was several years ago. This was like, gosh, fresh out of college, right?
Yeah,
But it was not for it was not for the left-leaning side. I'll just say that, right? So it's funny that you say Goebbels because I saw I saw someone commenting. There was this Green Beret, I think, who wrote this long tweet, comparing them to an insurgency, right? And he detailed through his experience, over in Iraq. He sort of checked the list, the command and control, all that stuff, right? Of what they were doing. It's just a matter of, well, who is controlling them? And I think we know. I think it's NGOs, whatever. But in one of the comments, someone said, "Oh, the French Maquis, they were insurgents, and the Nazi resistors, they were insurgents." And then I said, "Well, by that merit, the German Workers' Party during the 1923 putsch, they were insurgents. And look what happened. They took over
right.
and they became Nazis, right?" So I think this idea that just because there are historical resistances that are good, I think if you would look at a classic one, look at the Terror during Napoleon's era. The revolution were not good people. They were beheading people in the town square. They were a mob mentality who did, they killed their king. So let's not try
Yeah,
to act like every resistor, every insurgent freedom fighter is automatically good just because they're fighting against something they perceive as bad,
yeah. I mean, the I've seen a lot of people smarter than myself talk about this, like the time for an actual revolution and a revolt by people who actually love this country and consider themselves patriots to be long gone, because we're so disconnected and we're so comfortable and ignorant, and you know you can't organize without having the FBI get into your little circles.
as I
uh
very well know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, I don't mean to laugh, but it's
No,
not funny.
it's 5 years ago. I mean, I can laugh at it because I'm in a much better place than I was when that happened. But I also, after all was said and done, was like, well, I know I'm not the bad guy. I haven't been behaving well. But I thought about like the resources and assets wasted when they could have been spending that stopping someone who maybe was preparing to put an IED somewhere, you know? I think about the
Yeah,
resources wasted on me, a um, guy with a um, psychiatric disability, saying crazy stuff, and
yeah,
for a good purpose, but acting stupidly. But I don't. The kind of way I look like if I could have gone to jail, if I can have been arrested by the federal authorities, and I still don't say all cops are bastards. I don't even hate the FBI. Um, I think these people who automatically look at ICE agents and call them things like Nazis or Gestapo or fascist, it's like you like those words, but do you know what those words mean, you know?
Yeah, those people are just parroting their talking points from whatever sources of information they're getting from. Usually, it's like CNN, mainstream media, or more left leaning. Even newspapers are compromised. Like everything's compromised. Rolling Stone magazine used to be cool like 25 years ago. Now it's
Longer
yeah. I
ago
used
than
to
that.
read that. Yeah, I mean, it became National Geographic even got a little weird,
Yeah.
you know, and so they're just parroting stuff. Like if you don't agree with, I've been called racist by somebody just because I said I didn't like Obama. And then yeah, I had to correct the guy because I was working and we were, for some reason it came up. We were just working. I said, "Yeah, I really don't like Obama." And he was like, "Oh, you're racist." I said, "No, I don't like him because I don't not like him because he's black. I don't like him because he's a traitor." And then I had to explain a bunch of stuff to people that clearly have read a book in like forever. So I was just, you
I
know,
mean, I didn't like Obama because I thought, I, I'm a real good reader of people, both naturally and through training, and I just saw a real big performance, right? That's what I saw. Um, it's funny, before we started this, Tim was mentioning to me that he and Michelle started a, production company, and I said, like, he's always been an actor. So I just had a distrust of him. But I did see other people who I was like, "Oh, you're voting for him because you're a racist, and you want everyone to know, 'See, I'm not a racist, I voted for the black guy,'" right?
yeah,
I mean, if I could have all done it all again, I wouldn't have voted for him or McCain. Now when I vote again, it will not be either of the major parties, most likely, right? Maybe in local elections, but, um, yeah, so to your point about where people get their information, I'm on Blue Sky. Um, whenever, they decided to launch it, I jumped on. Not that I wanna, uh, become a liberal, but I do like engaging with liberals. I do like seeing the stuff they talk about, especially when they're, like, chill about it, right? Whenever they're not just their own terms. But on that website, suddenly, they care about the Epstein investigation so much. Suddenly, fascist, Gestapo, racist, bigot. I was even put on lists on there because, even though I follow trans people on there who are cool creators, but I'm not, like, down with the agenda per se, so I was called a
right,
transphobe or whatever. So they're very quick to put labels on stuff, it's like, I
right.
cannot say, "Oh, Rick, we just disagree," whereas, like, I think about, like, there's 2 guys we served with, Mike, Shoemaker, right?
Oh yeah,
He and I don't agree on politics. Great, like, he posts Washington Post articles. I, and another guy who was, more senior than you guys were, we have good conversations and we don't agree on much, but we always find that common ground. And it may be
yeah.
because, we're kind of, brothers in a weird way. So we can find that. But I feel like when I look at people, like, we're humans. Let's find some common ground.
Yeah, the I mean, if you just follow the money, like the money is what's compartmentalizing everybody. Like they're putting so much money into secret, all these NGOs that nobody really knows about, and all this money is getting tossed around like candy, and there's no accountability for it, so they can pump it wherever they want. They can put it into Planned Parenthood. They can put it into uh, you know, protests and rallies, and they pay for, pallets of bricks show up in a city all of a sudden, and then it burns down. Like, ooh, I don't know how that happened.
During
So
the summer of 2020, yeah.
yeah, I mean, everyone's everyone's quick to label. Like usually people that are super quick to just name call and have a label like that, and with such like vigor and conviction and anger, is because they either don't have the capacity to, or they're too afraid to deep deep dive into it and and kind of like question their own reality because it once I started looking into stuff when I got out of the military, I really wanted answers because I was like, there is something really wrong with what happened in Iraq and like all that stuff. I was like, what is this about? So I started looking into it and I almost punched out. Like I was just so devastated and just it shattered my reality. And then I started to pick myself back up and be like, all right, well, what can we do about it? Like you just all you can do is have like rational conversations with people here and there.
Tim, I consider myself so fortunate that I never got put in that position, because I went to Quantico whenever you guys went to think Iraq, right? And I remember my first year of college is when like all you guys started to go over, right? But as I started college in 2004, and 21 years later, knowing now why we were in Iraq, why we were in Kuwait in the 90s, I think my brain would explode. I think I would be so frustrated that it's like you guys sent me halfway across the world based on a lie. And,
Yeah,
like I am shocked that guys who see that haven't committed more political violence. Thankfully, I don't endorse that, right?
right, yeah.
But I am really shocked. So,
Yeah, I mean, because you kind of feel how I felt really helpless once I kind of figured out, I learned halfway through my deployment in Iraq as a combat replacement. I was like, there is absolutely zero reason to be here other than bait for the media. Zero reason. Like they were like, get out of this armored vehicle and go see if that thing over there on the road is a bomb. And I'm like, what?
yeah.
Like,
And,
really?
and, and Tim,
Okay.
in 2004, I found out some of you guys died via CNN because they had a little ticker of every death. Do you know when that ticker went away?
No.
Inau- Inauguration day of the next president.
Of course.
So, like you said,
Yeah.
you were fodder for the media. Um,
Yeah.
and let's not get into who controls the media right now.
Yeah.
We don't need to get down that hole. That's for
That's
another
a whole
podcast.
nother. Yeah. But
You,
yeah, I
you
was
go ahead.
when I was in Iraq. I kind of realized voting was BS because uh, it was around time. It was '04. It was like summer of '04. They're like, well, you can go put in an absentee ballot and vote for whomever, but it won't get back to the states in time to count. So I was like, so basically, what you're telling us is that it doesn't matter.
Well,
Like it,
so my first pump, we had one of the guys from the S shops come in and teach us how to fill out an absentee ballot. This is kind of funny because this is Bush versus Gore, and he's and people were like, "Well, should I even fill it in? The election's like next week," and he's like, "Nah." And then I wondered, what if like 100 of those guys were from Florida and meant to vote for Gore because they kept coming in and they had to count them. He's like, "Nah, it's okay. You missed your shot." It's like, "Then why are you in here talking to us?"
yeah, they're just checking the box.
It's like, would say you meant well, but but I don't think you care. Hey, so you've seen the video of I think it's Renee Nicole Good or Nicole Renee Good or the woman in the Honda Pilot who got turned into a
Yeah,
canoe. Um,
yeah.
so you saw that video. I did a video analyzing it from a law enforcement perspective because I was 7 years federal law enforcement, right? You as a um, as a combat veteran, what was your interpretation? And you get one outside of being a combat veteran too. I'm really curious.
Um, well, I did have some law enforcement time as an MP because they take grunts
That's right.
and
Yeah,
they make you an MP when there's not much going on, and then they're
yeah,
like, "Hey, you got 5 days to go to Iraq," and I was like, "Oh, great." But yeah, so I basically got trained how to use like a baton, handcuff people, pepper spray, and fill out paperwork.
yeah.
That was about it. So my thought, like, I didn't see all of the angles. I saw a few of them, but my first question is like, why are you there? Like, why was she there? Why was she driving her vehicle in the
To which
middle
a
of where?
liberal would say, "Well, what about Kyle Rittenhouse? He shouldn't have
Well,
been here."
right. Well, he got chased, right?
Yeah.
By by and then the media, remember the media called it, like, said that he killed black people, which was
Killed 3 black
100%
guys.
false. Yeah,
Which is funny. The
100%
only
false.
black guy who touched him, he didn't even take a shot at.
Yeah, yeah, and then those, like, what, 2 out of the 3 of them had were convicted sex offenders or something
Mhm.
like that. Anyway, but yeah, like, it's totally different because he was there protecting his town from violent looters that were setting things on fire,
Mhm.
destroying the town, literally. I mean, he it's not his town. I don't know if he came over from across the border of the state. I can't remember the
Yeah, they
details.
were really adamant that recently that for some reason in that case, borders mattered, you know?
Right. Yeah, the irony, right?
Yeah.
The hypocrisy. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I really don't understand what these people hope to accomplish just by being annoying, basically. Like, why are they like, what do you think is gonna happen? Who are you protecting? Do you even know who you're protecting? Like, I don't think they've ever had to deal with people that from another culture that absolutely will not assimilate and will do horrendous things to people if given the chance because that's just their culture, I guess. I guess they've had to give people classes in Minnesota on how not to grape women
I
because
mean, they have no contributions for the betterment of society. Um,
no,
when I'm accused of being a racist, I say, "Thank you for recognizing that. Now, that you know that, you understand that I think everyone is a racist." That's what I say. I mean, I never
yeah,
deny racism. Something I've learned. I'll either like, okay, whatever. Um, but I think if we're going to lie and say that Somalians are a benefit for this country, then there's really no other argument. We know we're talking about idiots, and it's not just Somalians. Like they're getting you know uh, illegal immigrants from the southern border, from other places that
yes,
overstays, from the Indian subcontinent. It is not just Somalians. It's not just Hispanics. Excuse me. For some reason, they feel so keen on making sure they stay here. And I'll get to that point later. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I agree with you. Yeah, it's like, who are you? Why are you insistent when this person wouldn't piss on your head if it was on fire? Like, there's countless videos on the internet of women that go over to countries that I would consider hostile towards Western women, and they either get killed or they get assaulted
Hmm.
or or worse, and they think they're going to make a difference by like, oh, look, I can prove that women are strong and we can walk through this predominantly Muslim country that most of it doesn't have electricity and stuff like that. It's just like, okay, like, but you should have a group of people with you. Like, just don't do it by yourself.
Yeah, at the very least, not even necessarily just one man. Like I know there was that couple who rides motorcycles, and she was assaulted in in India because I mean, he was a pussy.
It's cuck.
Yeah, yeah. He was sitting in
Yeah,
his cuckold chair. You know.
yeah, it's really messed up. And then they went on record like apologizing for the people who did that to them.
Oh yeah. They're like, oh, we would still go to India. It is still a great country. It's like, I mean, I'm sure there are great parts. I get. I don't hold animosity towards Indian people. I just think they belong in India. You know.
Right. Yeah, like uh everyone's a little bit racist, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
I
and I'm
mean,
not. This isn't to say we shouldn't have any Indians here. Like, oh, I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
believe that at all. It's just that like at a certain point, we need to start looking out for the people who are actually born in this country, including second generation Indians.
Of course. Yeah, people who care about our culture and our social climate like in a not the way it is now, but like I don't know, like pre 9/11, country was doing pretty damn good, I think. Like everyone was just kind of doing their own thing. There wasn't super hot button topics about racism and the pushing the weird agendas on children and all that stuff. There
Yeah.
it really wasn't a thing. I saw an interesting video today of a clip of Netanyahu basically saying that they did 9/11 to get us into a war. He was like, "Oh, but sometimes you have to do something to a country to make them get into a war." In the bombing of 9/11 and this and that, I was like, or September, I was like, okay,
So
that's
he let it
one
slip.
of yeah, one of many sources I've seen that Mossad planted the charges, and we can get into that whole thing, but it's a different
Yeah, yeah.
podcast here because
That
there's
is a podcast where we will um invite some people on. You Doc Hurley, right?
yeah.
Oh, whenever we do that one, Doc Hurley will be on there on your
Oh
podcast.
man, that'll be great.
Yeah, because I
That'll
told him
be great.
I was like, if we do that podcast, I was like, you gotta be on there, Will. So
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I'm there, Rick, I'm there. So,
Yeah, me and him are sending each other messed up Instagram stuff all day. So
oh, dude, now that you're back on social, so I'm like, one of us.
yeah, it's funny because like it's crazy how much stuff I've never used Instagram before I got back on the socials, and it's wild.
Yeah.
Like there's extremes of every single niche you can find, like from humor to cute stuff to music to just horrific racist stuff, and it's all most of it's hilarious. Like
You know what's funny is people are like, your likes are public. I go, oh, I know they're public, and I hope all my friends see them. I hope people who don't even know me see them, so they know how I am.
yeah, I've had a lot of random people follow me, and I don't post anything on there, which is
They're
strange.
waiting
So
for you to.
yeah, it's probably like whatever kind of like pre-crime unit they're setting up right now, like the Minority Report.
What's happening? Hey,
It is happening.
okay, so as far as the killing of Renee Good, let's say killing. I wouldn't call it
Yeah,
murder. Let's go back to Tim at a checkpoint in Iraq.
right. Yeah.
Would that be a scenario where you would have turned someone into a canoe?
Yeah, it depends. Like, how close are you? Are you boxed in? Like the cops look pretty boxed in. There was cars on the other side of the street. Like that officer could have got squished between. I've seen a lot of body cam footage to where officers are because a vehicle is a deadly weapon regardless. So like I've heard
Yeah,
people's argument, oh, they should have shot the tires out. Like car could still go with no tires. Like
yeah,
I mean, those people just have no idea. They're so detached from what extreme violence is
yeah.
and split second reactions. So I
Unbelievable.
don't
I
I don't
I
know.
do not.
Like,
Yeah, I do not
like I
celebrate her dying, but the
no.
reason she's dead that day is because she listened to her wife. And as a woman should know, you never listen to women.
Yeah, I mean the
I feel
divorce
bad
rate
for her.
among les
I'm sad she's
yeah,
dead.
it sucks. Like the way that people champion Charlie Kirk's death was insane. Like
People we know.
posting, yeah, people were like about to have a parade about it, and it's like, dude, that was one of the only people willing to listen to and debate people that had different opinions and like listen and speak to them. I mean, some of his stuff, not everyone agrees with, or or
I didn't
whatever. But
agree with more than half of what he said, but
yeah,
he's a father, he's a
Yeah.
Christian, which I am a Christian,
Mhm.
and they decided to murder him publicly, and I
Right.
don't like it. I don't like the killing of Renee Good, but I also
No.
understand that she was aggressive towards a cop. I can justify it from a law enforcement perspective,
Yeah, I probably would
but
have
I
lit her up too.
but like
Yeah.
even there were even cops who have shot people who said like, "I wish I didn't have to shoot him," or whatever.
Right.
Now, first, I looked at the Alex Preddy incident and I said, "Those cops need to go to jail." But a lot of stuff has come out since then. What's your interpretation of the Alex Preddy situation?
Um. Well, he was clearly violent. He was like kicking vehicles.
Mhm.
He kicked the brake light housing out of a vehicle that was driving away. I saw that one.
Which
Um.
just to interrupt real quick, I had people in those comments saying it was clearly AI. It's like, guys, not everything is AI. And then they show different
ah,
angles. There's like 3 different angles of it now. Yeah, but go ahead.
right. AI. It's not quite there yet, but in a year or two, I think we won't even be able to tell. It's moving so fast, and it's learning from itself and from what everyone's putting into it.
Yeah,
Can't be regulated for 10 years. That's scary.
I know. Now that Palantir has an
That's
investment and so does Israel.
ooh, that's another podcast.
Yeah, that's another podcast.
but but somebody broke down a video of it, and he had a pistol out, and it was a notorious pig Sig P320, which are garbage, and they just go off. I've seen videos of them going off in police officers' holsters while they're just standing there, not touching it in like a lobby of a building or something. It'll just go off, or somebody will drop it and it'll go off, which is, should never happen with a striker fired pistol.
But I
And
have never had that happen to a pistol in all the pistols I've shot in my life, which is in the hundreds.
me neither.
Yeah,
Me neither. And so he zoomed in on it, and he was explaining, like, you can see that he had a pistol out and it was pointed towards the ground. He had it like pointed down at his, at arm fully extended, and a shot went off, and that's when he got lit up by the rest of the
yeah,
officers, because they can't they see the gun and then they hear the shot and they just react because of training. Um,
yeah.
but all it would take, it takes a fraction of a second to just point it. So I don't know if it was a negligent discharge or if he was just nervous and had his finger on the trigger and fired into the ground. But it did. He had a gun in his hand and it went off, and he was wrestling with cops. So
Yeah, I've seen
I mean,
a lot of veterans comment to the fact that they shouldn't have fired. But I think a lot of veterans, and this is where, you know, this is where I'll fall back on my law enforcement experience. I'm trained at the same places these guys train, right? You have different rules of engagement in the military. If you hear a gunshot, you don't start firing, right? You have to. Am I correct? Am I remember that right? You have to like know where it's coming from.
yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
depends. Like if you're on patrol in thick jungle and you hear one shot, like you don't know if it's a sniper, you don't know this, you don't know that. But if it's in that proximity with people, uh, everyone just goes on full alert. Like,
yeah.
yeah, you would have
I
to
mean,
identify the threat.
like
You don't
I
just
just
shoot the
know that.
closest person.
Yeah. Hey, you're here. I'll shoot you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
here's a flashbang, run.
so my theory, and it's pretty based on what you talked about, is um, probable negligent discharge. And the reason I say that is because I did watch a video of a guy demonstrating how he could squeeze the top of the SIG, and it would go off. He did it 3 times.
Yeah,
He was able to repeat it.
yeah.
And when the guy was
Wow.
carrying it, I believe he had it by its upper receiver, which would make the bullet go off.
No, he had his hand full on. From the video I saw, the angle, it was kind of distorted because it was zoomed
You
way
know
in.
what? You're absolutely right. Because
He
we
had
wouldn't have
his
been able to
hand up,
see. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I'm
so
misremembering.
I just couldn't tell if he had his finger on the trigger or not, from
Yeah,
because it was so just the resolution was kind of distorted from zooming in on it. It's
yeah.
just cell phone. Um,
Everyone copying it and pasting it and loading it up
yeah,
to Pornhub. Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's like Xerox.
so 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 like in law enforcement, the idea is you hear there's a gun, you hear a gunshot, the last person who had the gun, is like it's a reaction. You know, they had their fingers on the trigger. They believed they were being shot at. So I think if there's a liability, and if this is one of those times where people need to sue a gun manufacturer at the Supreme Court, or not the Supreme Court, it's civil court, sorry. It's Mr. Pretty's parents, because I think that gun doesn't go off. And I 37 ain't that young, but I didn't get my act together until I was almost 40, right? So I'm not going to
Right.
judge too hard. 37 is a young man, right? Because how old are you, Tim? 44?
Yeah.
44. So we're a little bit older than him, right?
Yeah.
But it is sad that a young man whose job was to help people like you and me, it's sad that he's dead. And it makes me think that he got caught up in something. It doesn't make me think he's a bad person. It makes me think he got caught up in the mob. Um, I am sad that both of these people are dead. But at the same time, if they weren't dead, they would be in jail today. They'd probably be facing Mrs. or Miss Good would be facing felony, attacking a federal officer, and Mr. Preddy would probably be a misdemeanor resisting arrest. It is sad that they will face no charges because they're dead.
Right. It's you got to follow the money again. Like, why are they doing this? Like, they've become radicalized. Like a lot of all these. Like I said, there's like a playbook for this communist Marxist type. Like, what is it? Rules for radicals. Like
Yeah, it's all
Saul
Alinsky. Yeah.
Lansky. Yeah, yeah. Um, it's a playbook. Like every time, it's. Are you familiar with the Hegelian dialectic?
No.
The It's like problem, reaction, solution. So like basically, either there is an underlying problem or an existing problem, or the government creates a problem, and then they study the reaction, and magically they have the solution. So they do this to test populations of people to control them, and it's pretty deep. It goes really deep, and it's pretty dark. But they do it all the time. Like they did it with 9/11 lockdowns. They did it with uh, COVID. They did it.
Code was the ultimate test, man. We
Oh
failed.
man, that was a global scale. Like
Yeah.
it was stupid flying after 9/11. I was in uniform with orders, and they took my cuticle scissors at the airport. And I was like, "Well, you're not going to take this pencil? I can kill you with this pencil."
Well,
Like,
I
what
mean,
the fuck?
as someone who sat in an airplane for 5 years assessing threats, I saw people bring stuff on a plane that I was like, if that guy beats me over the head with it, if he hits me twice, I'll be dead or unconscious.
Yeah,
But but it's not a
like
4-inch knife.
right. Yeah,
You know? And
or
I don't know if you've ever been stabbed. Stabbing one is pretty survivable.
right. Yeah, it depends where. Uh, but yeah, like you can't have 6 ounces of toothpaste.
Because
You
who's
know
the
what I
big
mean?
guy trying to make a bomb?
Yeah. I was going through the airport in Alaska one time, and it was a little tiny airport in Ketchikan. You ever been there?
No, I've never been to Alaska. I might go next summer
No.
because my sister's
Okay.
husband's stationed there.
Nice. Ketchikan's a cool little town that's closer down towards like BC and stuff. Um, but we were flying out, and I had like half of a tube of toothpaste. Like half of it was visibly in there, and I rolled it up and everything. And the guy was like, "Oh, you can't take that." I was like, "Dude, it's half. It's like 3 ounces." He's like, "Well, I don't know." And I was like, "What are you gonna do? Throw it in that trash can right behind you, where the next 1,000 people are gonna walk by?" Like,
So if it blows up, it kills
yeah,
everybody.
yeah. Like, it's such a joke. It's just like, who's gonna follow the rules? Like, who's gonna do that? Now you can carry a lighter on planes
Dude,
again.
funniest terror attack ever would be like 100 terrorists saying, "Oh, I forgot my toothpaste," throwing it in there, and then a guy runs up and throws a match in.
Yeah, yeah. You can't
Oh
take
my
this apple. like, like I got told to stand to the side and like either throw the apple out or eat it right now. I was like, I'm eating this apple right now.
dude, I'm ashamed that my badge even said a transportation security agent on it whenever I worked as an air marshal, man, because I it's just it's an agency that should no longer exist. But you were talking about like the whole like the cycle. You said the Hegelian
Hegelian dialectic.
dialectic. But
Yeah.
I guess I have to ask, who does all this benefit? And so I do have one answer because I think the Dems know deep down that this country is more moderate than they think, and the more illegals, the more future citizens who will vote Dem. That's the only thing I can think of. What else do you think?
I think they're actively trying to uh, destroy our country or demoralize it to the point where we're no longer a superpower. Because basically, the U.S. has just been the sword of Israel, pretty much, and London's been like the banking. Anybody, any country with an obelisk, like Washington Monument, um, is the military might, and London, what is it, Trafalgar Square? I'm not exactly sure, but they're the banking side of it, and the Vatican is like the the think tank. Like that's what I've read. I could be wrong on that, but there's like three major geographic locations which are also like the hubs of control. Um,
Yeah.
and so I don't know. They're doing a good job of it. I mean, it's been decades and decades in the making. Like it started with the central bank in 1913. Uh,
And that's
yeah,
why
like
that's why I always tell people Woodrow Wilson was the worst president. Like ever say who's the worst? I go Woodrow Wilson. Read your history books.
yeah, I mean, they tell you the Titanic hit an iceberg, but there was a survivor that reported an explosion, and there was a bunch of a bunch of bankers on that boat that were opposed to a central bank. And who was not on that boat? J.P. Morgan. He was supposed to be on the boat, and guess what? Central bank. Like I don't know. Like I don't know if that's 100% true, but it's a massive coincidence.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
and we can kind of trace the beginnings of communism mainstreaming in America at the turn of the previous century, right? So we
yeah,
know it inundated media, it inundated academia, it inundated the government. Um, to this day, and especially after watching several documentaries about it, I realized McCarthy was a good guy. But I do realize that communism is just a tool they use. It's a promise they make and never keep, right?
right.
I just wonder who these people are who are benefiting from destroying our nation. And interestingly enough, there are certain groups who are like, let's try to get these people to go to Europe and America. Let's destabilize. And I can't imagine who would want to destabilize economic superpowers. Like that's what I don't get. And just in Minneapolis right now is Waltz, however you say his name, Waltz Ellison Frey. Are they just those guys stooges? Like that's where I can't connect it.
I think they are stooges because I don't think they're intelligent enough to do this on their own. Based on what I've seen, they're
I mean,
just
Wall's got caught in stolen valor, so we know that.
yeah, putting tampons in little boys' rooms is worthy of taxpayer dollars, of
Yeah.
course. Excuse me, and I don't know, like Kennedy got killed for calling it out. 2 weeks before he got shot, he said there is a shadow government that seeks to control every man, woman, and child in America. And then that's another rabbit hole. Like Bush Senior was deputy director of the CIA at that time, so it's a lot of weird
Oh, that's
dots to
definitely that's
connect.
definitely that's definitely like a series of podcasts.
Yeah, that's like the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Still waiting on those files. Epstein
It'll
files.
happen. I believe it.
Yeah, I think that our country was an experiment from the beginning because when the founding fathers wrote all of their documents, and like the uh, Declaration of Independence and Bill of Rights and all that stuff, they had it in their mind that it would stay like a predominantly European white culture, pretty much, and
Yeah.
Like they don't really talk about that in the history books. It's just like, oh yeah, we're all men are created equal. Yeah, of the same ilk. Like
Yeah.
class. I mean, we can get into that, but that's not the point. But the point is like it might. They slowly like people that had exterior influence just started manipulating it here and there, just picking at it. Just okay, we'll free the slaves. We'll give women the right to vote. We'll destroy the nuclear family. We'll push, you know, sodomy type stuff. Like you look at the people who put. I can't recall any names right now, but they're from a certain country that has a 7-pointed star on it. Um,
It is not the Star
yeah,
of David, by the way, but I
right. It's what is it called? It's like the star of Ro it's like an R, I think.
they liked it from somewhere, so they took it.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
definitely not
that
something.
which is not meant to be a pun.
No,
Um,
but yeah, like they started pushing more pornographic things, and that's why the Nazis were burning books in Germany. They don't really
no one ever asked
talk
what
about
type
that,
of books.
right? Yeah, what kind of books were they? Like, oh, maybe your kid thinks he's a little girl, or your little boy, little girl thinks he's a boy or she's a
Yeah,
boy, and it's
and
like it's not.
I never even thought about this though, Tim, but I wonder if some of the appeal of the people who were rioting and protesting, if it does go back to a like a videophilic, pornographic sensation to be seen. Like they they like people seeing them out there. There's a voyeurism to it. It's not just I'm, I'm sure you remember the videos from the 80s where it's like in some conflict, some guy's throwing a rock while the other guy has a gun. He didn't know anyone was filming him. Everybody in these protests, they're tweeting about it, they're messaging about it, coordinated attacks. They are documenting their own attacks on ICE agents. I think it's borderline masochist, it's like sadomasochistic for them. I think,
Yeah, it's
like,
almost pornographic.
yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's because I think they feel some kind of safety net knowing that there's going to be someone recording, and maybe it'll go in their favor, maybe it won't. Like, uh, but it is kind of weird. It's like they get off on it. They get some kind of rush from knowing, like, oh, this I'm going to be. I don't know if they generally think they're going to become famous or go viral or whatever, but
Yeah,
maybe they just feel untouchable in a way, or invincible, that because everyone has a camera now. Uh, I mean, when I was a kid, like you had to go bring your film to CVS or Walgreens and wait a week, and hopefully they didn't see the boobs in there, like or
yeah,
whatever. And but now everything's so instantaneous. Like everyone's desensitized as well. Like
yeah.
we're so desensitized by media. I mean, Hollywood is just
I mean,
gone. Like,
well, like speaking of that, just think about the fact that like they even edited Mr. Preddy's photo to make
yeah,
him appear slightly more handsome. And I'm
right,
like, dude, do you want women to lust after a guy who's passed away? Like,
right. That's
and
it's
and then
weird.
and then you're like, well, like, what even goes through your head? Oh, maybe they didn't know. It's like they knew. I
To
mean,
what end, though? To
yeah. I mean, well,
yeah,
it's just so
it's
so.
like the
Here, I'm gonna show you a
uh,
picture. Because they
that's
just like the way they lionized what's his name? The Luigi guy. They want to lionize these
oh,
people. And it's just like
Mangione. Yeah.
it's
Well,
like that
because
didn't work. Yeah.
that's another common denominator is the modern women, like aka feminists. Like they have been used as a political tool forever. Like you've read 1984, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like
They
yeah,
use the
like
women.
the women, yeah, because they'll snitch, they'll try to elevate themselves, rather than be that yin yang like rock. for a strong man somewhere.
Yeah.
Like the idea of homemaking is like disgusting to most women. But then they get this corporate job that pays six figures or more, and they can't find a man because they're masculine attitude all the time. And then they wonder why they're miserable drinking box wine and with like six cats in their house. And it's like,
Hey, don't no hate on box wine, man. I'm drinking box wine right now.
well, you know what I mean? It's like
But
a
no,
stereotype.
I
Yeah.
absolutely get your point. I I I really do.
It's the
And
effeminization of our society.
oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
like to be clear, whenever we moved to Texas, I quit my job. Jamie's the breadwinner, you know.
Yeah.
But with my girls, I always told them, I said, listen, admire your mother. She's an extremely intelligent person. She's a hard worker. But you know
Right.
what? Jamie would never go to a riot and try to run over a cop and never go home to her kids. Like
Right. Yeah.
why is this woman not with her children? Why was she married to two guys and now suddenly she's with some, woman? It's like what happened along the line? Like what radicalized her? You know?
Right.
And she looked pretty
Yeah.
normal in the early photos. And I'm not saying she's a bad person. I'm not saying she's abnormal, but something caught her up. And just from a psychological perspective, I think it is important to consider that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times, people that have had like severe trauma of some sort growing up are more easily radicalized because somebody can come over and be like, "Hey, little buddy, like I understand how you feel," and it started pointing them into a different grooming kind of. It's
Yeah.
like being
And
groomed.
well, so so this is I think of so we had ice here in Texas. Did you guys get any weather up there?
But hard. It's weird. We have no snow.
Oh, really?
I'm at like 7,200 feet, and there's like nothing. Even on the Wind River range, I can see it from my porch. And there's the tops of the mountains are like 14,000 feet, and you
Oh,
can't.
wow.
There's barely any snow on them.
So we did. We were iced out from doing much of anything from Saturday until yesterday, right? And on the second or third day, some teenager in his Jeep decides to go way too fast down a road with two 16-year-old girls, beautiful young ladies, man. It's in a city near us. He decides to go as fast as he can in his Jeep that his mommy and daddy probably paid for him. And these two girls strike either a pole or a tree. They're dead, right? Sucks, right? And all
Yeah,
I can think about, like I have three daughters. All I can think about is, man, I would he wouldn't even make it to jail. They
yeah,
would never find the body, right?
right.
I'm reading the comments in the article about it. Tim, I BS you not. Freaking white liberal women saying, think about how he's gonna have to live with that. That poor kid. And I'm thinking like he needs to be in jail and his parents need to be sued into poverty. Like,
Right.
and I even commented, it reminded me of that Norm Macdonald quote where he's like, if ISIS were to blow up something today, the first thing the media would do is, well, think about how this affects Muslims.
Yeah,
People aren't
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about the victims; they're thinking about the criminals. I'm just like, it's
Yeah.
disgusting, man.
It's backwards. It's completely backwards. Um, I understand having empathy for other human beings. Like it's just a natural thing, for most people, not the Clintons. But like I'm gonna wear your face. But anyway, yeah, the it's but like people they're getting like such a dopamine response from all the social media that it's like they're people that are getting radicalized, sorry, are basically like drug addicts.
Oh
Like
yeah, it's a high.
they're addicted to conflict, they're addicted to being angry, they're addicted to being, seeing so many cute dog videos or whatever. Like they're addicted. I mean, it's very addictive. They still haven't even completed really uh enough studies on this type of stuff because we don't know. Like we can physically and visually see the change in behavior between generations, like of exposure. Because when we were growing up, you had to, I don't know, like people started getting the internet when I was like 12, dial up, and it was expensive, so you had to like be sparing. And people are trying to use the phone in the house, so you can't be on it all the time.
Mhm.
And so we had like limited exposure. We play outside until it was dark out. Um, Come home, be all over town without your parents knowing where you were all day. Just check in, call from your friend's house or something.
Yeah.
And now when parents are getting locked up for letting their kid walk to the store.
Yeah.
You know,
No, we're fortunate to live in a community where we're like, "Hey, go play at so and so's house. If you go somewhere else, let us know." We're but that's we've scaremongered ourselves into believing that around every corner is some man waiting to butt rape and kill your child. I'm sorry,
yeah, like
butt molest and
yeah,
and your child, right?
yeah,
So it's like it ain't like that. And I think this is what I find so frustrating about the two deaths is I bet outside of these events, these were probably two pretty chill people. Probably Alex Preddy more so than
right,
Renee Good because of her situation, and I don't want to sound bigoted, so I won't give any more details. But I bet he was probably a fun hang. And the fact that he got so caught up in something, the boogeyman, there's a guy around the corner. He's going to take this guy who probably shot someone in Mogadishu. He's going to send it back to Mogadishu. It's like,
right,
why is that my problem?
right. And it's funny because people are very comfortable. Even people I know are very comfortable just blaming a certain group just because they don't have any intelligent reasoning or explanation. Like I used to work with a guy out here. He's probably around 30, 32, musician, but he moved to Salt Lake, and he posts on Facebook. He's like, I'm tired of the political stuff. He's like, screw Trump, screw ICE. It was murder, this and that, the Republicans. And he basically, on one of his posts, he blamed the president for not being able to get a good job. And I'm like, dude, like you are exactly what they want you to be. But I don't engage because it's just going to be mentally draining on me. I just said, hey, man, how about you just walk into jobs and like, yeah, after you submit your resume, call them up, give them a follow up call. Like,
Yeah.
you got to be persistent if you want the job. Like it stands out to management if you're not just some guy like waiting. You're just twiddling your thumbs on your couch. Like,
Did you say this guy was a musician?
yeah,
Maybe they just don't understand his vision.
yeah. They totally don't get my sound, man. They don't dig the scene, bro.
Bruce Springsteen sucks. Oh,
Yeah, but
man.
it's just wild, like how quick people will just blame just anything just to not be accountable for their own opinions or actions. Because the
Yeah.
critical thinking is just going down the drain.
I mean, I, I think I was listening to something earlier where they talked about um, when Reagan won 48 states, one of the states he lost was Minnesota, and they talked about how like there's a lot of people who who found like pioneers in Minnesota who come from backgrounds that are really into like a whole socialism background and how it's just like permeated throughout the years. So you'll have occasional elections where a Republican will take it, but you always have that background. And so you sort of have to have like this middle of the road candidate to win the state. And it's extra pronounced there. And I just never even thought about it. I think of Minnesota as like, oh, it's that cold place next to Wisconsin. You know, that's the only way I really think about it. But now we're seeing that like there are a bunch of lunatics there, man. It's basically another Madison. And I say this knowing a ton of cool people from Madison who live in Madison who are very normal. But they'll even tell you, man, there are some people out there that they just get hyped up in their feelings, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, first of all, I don't have much to say about Frey with the whole, I'm gonna show you what a dirtbag leftist I am, and I'm gonna say the F word during this speech, and I'm gonna say, ICE, get the F out." And it's like, oh, some side note, I think I knew him, which is hilarious, but that's a whole different story. Yeah, I think he lived in Arlington around the same time I did years ago. So I'm pretty sure I knew him, but like I can't be 100% sure. And I remember thinking back then, like I would just love to punch this guy in the face.
Is that the mayor?
Yeah, yeah. He's
Oh, that guy he's a cuck.
why is he in Minnesota? What's his relationship to there? He's from Arlington, Virginia.
I don't know. They're all plants. Like
He's a
they're
plant for several
yeah.
reasons, but we won't get into the other reason, right? Um,
That was a funny video when he was sitting there trying to eat the Somali food and pretend like he liked it. He
like
was like, "Ooh, it's so good!" Like, dude,
I tell you what, man, there's some good African foods. I've never
yeah,
heard anything good about Somali food.
no,
I've had a Ghanan food, Liberian food, Nigerian food, no complaints.
yeah,
Complaints after the fact, couldn't buy a new toilet.
yeah,
Like, I mean, but like, I guess like for guys like us, we're not going to be part of the solution, right? Especially me. Like, if I mean, like, if I could convince my wife to let me go back and work in law enforcement, I would legally be allowed to do it anyway, right? So,
right.
but like, but I think like we aren't the guys to fix it, but what would like what sort of changes do you think could fix this whole like brimming civil war? What people, some people think it's that.
Um, I don't, I don't know. That's a good one because according to the Constitution, or not even the Constitution, but who said that? Jefferson, not Jefferson. The tree of liberty must be refreshed with the blood of patriots and
Mhm.
tyrants alike, or something like that. Um, I mean that would have worked back then without the technocracy going on. Like
Yeah.
a kinetic civil war, I don't think would ever really happen. Yeah, people could burn cities down and shut down power grid. Our power grid's pretty garbage right now.
Oh yeah, we
Because
found that out in Texas a couple years ago when ours went down.
yeah, and it's pretty vulnerable and it's garbage. So I don't know if any kind of kinetic thing would go on because didn't Obama sign an executive order authorizing drone strikes on U.S.
On American
soil?
citizens without due process.
On, is that overseas or is that here?
I mean, I guess it's whatever, as I used to call him, chocolate Jimmy Carter decides. And now I feel bad
Right.
because I'm like, man, he's way worse than Jimmy Carter was. And you're talking to someone, Tim, like, let me be clear. In my life, the only president I think even did a passable job was Bill Clinton. I am not a Republican. I am I am not a, only my guy cider. I didn't vote for Trump. So but but I tell you, man, like I truly think people saw him as like, here is a guy who will let us just bring in the degeneracy. And then Biden was like, whoa, 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 he didn't do enough degenerate stuff. I need to,
Right.
I'm only going to be here 4 years because I have dementia. And he like amped it up. And I think we're seeing it on the streets that the people, whenever they're given so much degeneracy in 12 out of 16 years, they don't know how to handle it whenever a president comes in and says, not only are we not going to allow that, we're going to push back so hard. And this is a bit of my problem with Trump. I think all of these arrests could have been done in a much more subtle, precision way without the public ever knowing. And I think
Oh yeah.
it is part of Trump's spectacle. He wants to make this
Right.
spectacle. And I will not give him a pass in this because I think there were better ways to do this. So
Yeah. I I just don't really know if really any president actually called the shots. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't really know if they do or not. I mean, yeah, he's a character. Like, a lot of the stuff comes out of his
So
mouth is
so what
hilarious.
you're saying is Miriam Adelson gave him a huge political donation, and now she gets to call the shots? That's exactly what you're saying, right?
No, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I just know that there's too much money and influence in politics. It's not pure. It's like if it was a pure constitutional republic, like there would be no money in it. Like we wouldn't have Nancy Pelosi getting rich off of Nvidia stock and stuff like that. Like, uh,
Came on a GS scale,
yeah, just fame on a geoscope. Like Bernie's probably the poorest politician.
and he ain't even
You
poor
know,
anymore.
no, he's taking money. Like 98+% of all of the representatives take money from da, 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 the
Certain groups,
grabblers,
the Grabblers,
the
the
grabblers,
Gomorrahites.
the 109s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well, I
mean,
mean,
like
nope.
it's wild. It's like I remember growing up. My mom, she's like a single mom, so I stayed with my grandparents a lot. And my grandfather would religiously watch the evening news with like Peter Jennings and all that stuff. And he loved Reagan, you know, like he loved all. He had a picture of Kennedy above his desk, which is a badass photo. I don't know what happened to it, but like he would just watch it every night, like religiously. Like when the Gulf War kicked off, I remember busting open the newspapers and they had like the new tech, like oh look at the F-117 and look at these ceramic things they put on the tanks to prevent anti-tank rounds from blowing them up. And I was just fascinated by the technology.
Hmm.
And but yeah, like it's kind of like ingrained in our culture to believe that the system actually works and serves people. I don't think it has for a really long time. Like I think we've just been given the illusion of,
I mean,
freedom.
Smedley Butler told us, you know.
Yeah, like I haven't read that book. I really need to. I wish I'd read it before I joined the Marines. I probably wouldn't have joined the Marines.
Would
They
have been like,
they always
I will not be an 0311. I will be
yeah,
desk clerk.
yeah, be a supply clerk.
Yeah, no
Uh,
joke. You're too smart.
just
Yeah, that's a problem, man. You're too smart to supply it. All the smart dudes became grunts because you had to
yeah,
have your
yeah,
mind stimulated. You know it, man.
yeah. It was crazy. But yeah, he wrote War as a Racket, and they were basically trying to get him to overthrow the government and have a coup
Yeah,
because he commanded a lot of respect because he had, what, two medals of honor?
two Medal of Honors. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And he was like, no, like I don't want that because he realized, he woke up, he was like, oh, we're just fighting for the money, like, and that
yeah,
was 100 years ago.
yeah. And maybe that
Like,
was the solution, and the rest of us just blew it. So I ask you for a solution. What do you think is a solution? I ask myself what would be the solution, and I go to a different source whenever it's from I'll paraphrase it, but in The Departed, whenever he's like, "What would you do when you had a rat?" He's like, "Just just kill everyone and start over." Which I
wow,
hope that doesn't happen, you know?
right.
Or
I don't. I mean, romantically, like, Hollywood's kind of puffed all this stuff up. It's such a beautiful romantic idea to get rid of, purge evil with hardship and violence, and then come out on top. But the way things are set up now, like it's it would be really hard because all the laws they have in place now and policies, they would just label you a terrorist and lock you up. You never see the light of day.
and I think also, and you can relate to this, Tim, is we recognize that no matter how much these people may seem like lunatics to us, we as Christians respect the fact that they have a soul, and we would
Yeah.
rather find ways to help them get better, or not even necessarily get better, just not resort to the rabid speech and violence, you know?
Yeah, it's weird because yeah, their whole slogan through the past what 15 years, 10, 15 years has been tolerance and acceptance and as soon as they find someone that disagrees, they get violent. They spit on them and like I had a girl spit on me in 2006 when I was on campus. I was just walking to a class and there was a protest for Iraq and I just walked up to this, typical little short-haired lesbian girl and she had a poster of like all the deformed babies in Iraq from all the depleted uranium that we dropped over there. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know about that. That's a pretty valid point. And then I was like, so you really think you're going to make a difference doing this here? Like, and then she spit on me. I just, I just went point proven, and I just walked away. Like I just went to my class.
It's like,
It's
"Hey,
like,
that master guns we had in 3-3 who was in Vietnam, he told me about this."
yeah, who was that? That wasn't Williams, was it?
Sakashi? Sakashi, something like that? Maybe he wasn't
He was
there.
a knob.
Yeah, yeah, we had a dude, at least my first pump, he was like a Vietnam era he joined during Vietnam. Yeah,
Yeah, you guys already had one deployment when I got there,
yeah.
so I
Yeah,
was a,
he may have
I
not
was a
been on the second one, but he was the only I think he was the only master guns in our battalion. Yeah,
man. He was salty then.
yeah, and he'd see me with, my long corpsman hair. Be like, "Doc, you need to get over here." I'd be like and, most of the time you're like, "Yeah, whatever," but you're like, "Dude, th this guy might have, killed a couple, G words that I won't s" like, I don't know if I wanna mess with Master Gun Sakashi. It's kinda
Yeah,
pissing me off, but, he might be able to kill me.
got some chunks of yellow flesh hanging off my bayonet.
Hey, man. Well, we're a little over on time, so I'm to wrap this up, but Tim, it's been a good talk, man, and I look forward to doing this with you again, man.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, our discourse will get out there, and people will start thinking about what's really going on versus just having emotional reactions to all these situations. Because it's basically it's all by design.